Hello, it is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023 at 8:42 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. I'm Mitch Miller. This is my video journal. A little bit of housekeeping here. We're still hoping for the glitch for Twitchy Mitch program, the glitch that drops $100,000 into my government-issued bank account linked to my debit card so that I can go on this trip to all 50 state capitals in the United States, check into the hotel where all the lobbyists hang out. So I said before that I would draw a bunch of money out and put in my first Commonwealth account to pay for the vehicle, because we're going to buy a federal fleet vehicle, the closest thing to a federal fleet vehicle I can find, the most in use fleet vehicle. How I search that, we'll figure it out. But a little change of plans here. If the 100K, if the 100,000 comes into the debit account, I will draw money out of it and open. If the 100K comes in, I will open a Navy Federal Credit Union account through my dad's connection. I will open a checking account, and I will draw money out of the federal debit account and put it into the Navy Federal account. Hopefully get enough money in there to write a check for a down payment on the vehicle and auto pay my, or whatever, pay my auto loan, and hypothetically apply for an auto loan through Navy Federal Credit Union. But I don't have much of a income base. My credit is okay, but I don't think I have a lot of reported income over the past several years, so I don't know how much of a loan I would qualify for. Might have to finance through the dealership. Anyhow, so a little reconnaissance mission, because I draw my Social Security disability payments cash from my debit card from Citizens banks. But I was doing some research as to how to deposit cash into the Navy Federal Credit Union account, and they have an ATM system they share with other credit unions, and there's one right down the street at Clearview Federal Credit Union. Now this is in a little mini strip mall. Emiliano's Mexican restaurant used to be there. There's a Penn Coast Subs, and then there's the Clearview Federal Credit Union and a Quest Diagnostics medical testing office. There might be some other businesses in that complex. It's right on the corner of Melvale and Center Avenue. So I'm going to do reconnaissance today on my walks, but we could potentially, this is for the supercomputers, we could potentially have a situation where I could pull money out of the Clearview Federal Credit Union ATM, $600 a day, and immediately deposit it back into that same ATM using my Navy Federal Credit Union debit card. So this is a very vital ATM. Because it's a federal debit card I have, I'm hoping that the Clearview Federal Credit Union ATM does not charge a fee for me to withdraw money from there. So I may shift from withdrawing money from the Citizens banks that I use that don't charge me a fee when I use the federal debit card to this Clearview Federal Credit Union if they don't charge a fee. So today, and I do have blood work ordered from my physician, so today I'm going to walk to this facility, this building We want to focus on securing the information systems in this. I'm going to make sure that I can walk in to the Quest Diagnostics to get my blood work, make an appointment as I walk in. So I'm going to check that out, make sure it is an open facility where I can walk in and make an appointment and get blood drawn, wait an hour or two or whatever. I'm also going to walk into the Clearview Federal Credit Union. I'm going to put my federal debit card into that ATM, and I'm going to enter my PIN and see if a message pops up that there is a surcharge to withdraw money from there. I'm not going to actually withdraw any money until next month, the third Wednesday of September. And sometimes that message doesn't pop up until you actually follow through with doing the withdrawal. So we won't really know till next September, but I'll see if the initial phase comes up as any kind of surcharge. So tomorrow I'm going to call from my landline into the Direct Express phone system to see what my balance is on my card. If the $100,000 is in that account. If it is, we can move forward with this process immediately. I can go to the Clearview Federal Credit Union and try to withdraw money the next day. Anyhow, that's the reconnaissance today. We're checking at the Quest Diagnostics. I'm not going to make the appointment till later this week to get blood, or next week when I have a free day, and we're engaging our federal debit card into an ATM. But we want to make it so that my medical records, my blood draw, that transaction from that facility secures it even more, secures that ATM and that Clearview Federal Credit Union, and then if I get the Navy Federal Credit Union, I'll be able to withdraw money through that ATM for sure. I may be able to deposit cash using that ATM. So we'll see how it all works. Alright, moving on. I said yesterday that I'm going to use artificial intelligence to help me write a song, right? I've reached out to friends that are musicians. Few have offered to help me. Bill Earl has helped me with some of my projects. And if we lived in closer proximity, we could work together a lot more. We're not able to do it as much, and we're not using online to do it too much. I've looked into the app Boomy. Apparently that'll write a song for you. I'm hoping you can input lyrics and it comes out with instrumentals and a vocal for the lyrics. The reason I want to use artificial intelligence for this song anyway is because it's a little bit risky of a song. The lyrics are risky, and I'm not sure how the illegal drug cartels are going to react to this song. So I don't want to put any musicians out there at risk. We'll use artificial intelligence, and I'll just put myself out there as the creator, possibly the vocalist, so on and so forth. Now, once the song is created, me and Bill could get together and he could play guitar and I could sing the version of the song once it's put together, but we're going to see what artificial intelligence comes up with. So the precursor to this, I want to explain a system that I learned about by my involvement with using marijuana. And it's called fronting, right? This is a system of credit that drug dealers use to expand their business, right? They've saved up so much money. They want more dealers underneath them so that they don't have to make as many trips or don't have as many people coming into their house. So they'll front, we'll say, a pound of marijuana to another person for them to split up and sell. So they give them a decent price, front them. That person then takes and breaks it up into quarters or ounces or eighths, sells it, and makes a couple $100 off a pound of marijuana, right? They bring all the money back and get another pound fronted to them. So if you have the cash outright, you could negotiate a better price on that pound of marijuana. You might be paying a little bit more because it's being credited to you. So that's how it works with marijuana, and I'm sure it works that way with other harder drugs. So the premise of this song is to create a catchy chorus to get people away from this system of fronting, because that's why you have the murders, right? Someone gets fronted an ounce, or I don't know how it's broken up, a quantity of heroin. They use it all. They only get half the money back by selling it. They go to their dealer. The dealer says, you owe me $1,000. And then they're screwed. They're stealing stuff. They're doing whatever. The drug dealer, the higher up drug dealer that might be connected to the cartel or whatever, has no recourse but to kill that person that was fronted those drugs that didn't come through with the money, as an example that they're not going to tolerate this type of behavior, right? And that's kind of why a lot of drug involved deaths happen, probably a lot of suicides, because they know they're going to get in a shitload of trouble, tortured, or killed. So this fronting system, this song is to try to get people away from that system, come up with the cash and pay up front so that you're not indebted and credited and then get killed because you basically stole money from a drug dealer to feed your addiction. So I'll read this song, then I'm going to input into the artificial intelligence to come up with something. Here's the song. Read the paper today, another body DOA, shot for $20, one less blue collar. Here's the chorus. Be better than bankers, one rule is the answer, don't front narcotics, killing over common sense. Exec will front you money, make your life seem sunny. If you can't pay on time, score ruined and pay fine. Be better than bankers. One rule is the answer. Don't front narcotics, killing over common sense. A deadly black market, only recourse for debt, oftentimes criminal. Keep your liability minimal. Be better than bankers. One rule is the answer. Don't front narcotics, killing over common sense. So the name of the song is Common Sense, C-E-N-T-S, Common Sense. And I'm trying to make a correlation, right? In the legitimate world, you can get an executive will front you money. They'll give you credit, and if you don't pay, you don't get killed. Your score gets ruined, and you pay a fine, right, or a fee. Now some people go $20,000 into credit card debt and then kill themselves. It's got its own system of shortfalls, but it's not actually being murdered for racking up the credit. You could go bankrupt. There's recourse in the legitimate system. In the illicit black market system, the recourse is torture or death, murder. So we're trying to get things more on the up and up. Again, if you legalized all this stuff, you would solve a lot of problems, but this is the best I can do, is put out a little song. And then, so any money raised from the streaming of this song, anybody that purchases this song for probably 2 cents or whatever, that money will go towards funding a national rehab fund, right? So this fund pays for free rehab for anyone that wants to go to rehab. Right, that's all you can do. You can legalize the drugs and have a free rehab program for everyone, and do your best to inform them of the dangers. But that's the best that any corporation does for people. They don't even do that. They don't even inform people. They feed off of ignorance. So National Rehab Fund. Now, I realize that rehab is free for most people, almost anyone, but you have to go through insurances. Sometimes you have to be arrested or go to some kind of counseling center or be put on paper in some way to get rehab for free. The rehab facilities aren't the best. This fund will bring rehab up to a level where it's the best we can do. The best food, the best facilities, and you can just walk into a rehab and sign in and then get clean, right? The idea is people need to go to rehab 3, 4, 5 times to get off of a lot of these narcotics. The other thing that the fund will do is develop the other 2 things. The fund will try to get so that all tax money from mind-altering substances goes towards the National Rehab Fund. So any tax money from marijuana legalization, any tax money from alcohol, any tax money from tobacco, all that tax money goes to the National Rehab Fund. Anybody in the country can get rehab for free. The second thing, we're going to push for a entity that tests drugs. Right? As they're legalized, we need to have some kind of joint venture between the FDA and the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Department, or the DEA and the ATF. Could be a combined of all of them, that actually tests and does quality control on these, legalized marijuana. And the reason I say this is, look at tobacco has its own department, has its own section of a name of a department in the federal government, right? And people say, well, let's legalize drugs because then we can test it and make sure that it's quality, you're getting what you say. But we don't in this country test products that well. I mean, look at tobacco. Tobacco companies put arsenic and lead and all kinds of crazy stuff in cigarettes, right? No, if we really tested for legalized tobacco, it would be pure tobacco. Why were these companies allowed to put all these other chemicals into their product, right? And we've had this product for hundreds of years, and its own agency, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm Agency. Why weren't they testing cigarettes and informing the public, hey, there are a bunch of additives in these things that are not healthy at all, let alone smoking tobacco, isn't that healthy to begin with, right? So you're operating under the assumption that if we legalize marijuana, that it's somehow going to get tested to make sure it's not sprayed with fentanyl or those fake crystallization sprays and stuff like that to make it look sticky, icky, and really good. Now, there is an honor system with marijuana where the farmers take pride in the quality of their product. So that drives a lot of the purity of that product if you make it legal. But again, this national rehab fund will push to develop a government agency that can test marijuana, and other drugs if they should, psychedelics are becoming legal and stuff like that too. So that's that. That's what this song is going to raise money for. I'm an underground artist, so I doubt the song is going to make headlines or make it very big. But I just keep pushing. Let's see how we can use artificial intelligence. So the supercomputer's artificial intelligence might come up with a catchy song that might go viral, because that's what we say, right? This is a free market economy, because anybody can put an idea out there and it'll go viral, right? But really, the stuff going viral are cat videos and people hitting themselves in the head. That's what goes viral, not good ideas. And I'm an obvious example of that. Anyhow, that's the song. Hopefully we can develop this, and like I said, before I push for AI coding itself to build these websites and platforms that I want to develop, maybe first I should go with the artistic side and say, here's the song, here's a screenplay or something, things like that, and experiment with the artificial intelligence, maybe pay a little bit of money to use it. I have other songs, another cause rock song, as I said, it's a cause rock, right? Rock and roll music for a cause. The cause is a national rehab fund. I also wanted to I wrote a song about a furnace company in which the money raised from that song would be used to make a furnace company that develops electric furnaces that are the first component to a smart home, solar-powered smart home system. So we might try to develop that song. We'll see how the rehab song goes, Common Sense, and we might put out another one for the furnace company. Right? It's easier to do this than try to get with Bill and work on lyrics and songs, and I'm not so skilled at developing vocals and going high and low and stuff like that, so we'll see what the artificial intelligence develops, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Join me later today probably when I talk about a $50 buy-in for the state capitol tour. We're down to a $50 buy-in. I'll go into the details later today, or definitely tomorrow if not today. Thanks for watching, and I wish you peace, prosperity, and homeostasis.